Big thank you to Llama Arts for being the creator of the animations I'll be watching in today's video. But without further ado, you should subscribe to him and enjoy the video. So first of all, we'll be watching a terrifying morning jog. This story is also told from the perspective of a woman.
Before heading to my local community college for classes, I like to wake up at around 5 in the morning for a brisk morning jog.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
It helps clear my head and definitely helps wake me up so I can focus in class. When I first started doing this, it was a huge hassle, but over time I grew accustomed to it, and it's now a highlight of my day.
Yeah,
however, as time went on, I found myself becoming quite uncomfortable. Not in a physical sense, but more so it was like my fight or flight instincts began kicking in seemingly at random. I'd whip my head around to see if anybody was following me or even peeking at me through the wooded park in which I ran, but couldn't see anybody. It didn't help that it was dark either, so even if there was somebody creeping in the dark, there was no way I could tell. As an extra precaution, I started carrying around some pepper spray in order to fend off any would-be attackers.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But as time went on and that eerie sensation occurred more and more, I just couldn't bring myself to run anymore. A friend of mine, Daniel, a self-proclaimed runner himself, told me that I shouldn't worry about it. He said that the mind plays tricks on oneself when it can't see things clearly, especially in the dark. After being reassured by him, I decided to give jogging another go.
Oh, good.
So today, like any other day, I slapped on some black leggings, tied my hair up in a ponytail, put on my kicks, and set my music volume to full blast and headed out the door.
That's not a good idea.
I felt fantastic at first and was loving the cool breeze and crisp morning air. But then, about halfway into my jog, a tall and hooded figure stepped out onto the path in front of me. Quickly, I pulled out my pepper spray and yelled at the person to leave me alone. The person quickly pulled down their hood, revealing themselves to be Daniel. I sighed with relief as he approached and laughed at how funny it was that we ran the same path. I expressed to him that I felt safer knowing he was around. Daniel, however, stepped a little too close and gave a crooked smile. He said that of course I was safe with him, as apparently I had been safe with him for weeks. The realization of what he meant quickly dawned on me, as his hands began to creep their way around my waist. I screamed at him to let me go and prepared to spray him, but he slapped it out of my hand and proceeded to grab my throat. With strange screams, I begged him to let me go and for someone to help me. He yelled at me and tightened his grip, asking why I wasn't thankful for his watchful eyes for the past several weeks. I was stunned at the complete personality change from the once gentle friend I knew. Pretty soon, I started to black out and grow weak. But just before passing out, I could hear the sounds of dogs barking and an older man screaming for Daniel to let me go. In a panic, he released me and ran back into the woods. I gasped for air before I began sobbing as the man escorted me out of the park and brought me straight to the police station. And despite my fears and reservations, I told them everything I knew about Daniel, or what I thought I knew, and what he had done to me. They immediately sent a patrol car out and told me that everything would be okay. The next day, I heard Daniel never showed up to class. He had been arrested several hours later after I left the police station and confessed to everything with a disgusting amount of self-righteousness. He was recorded as saying, "She needed me. Only I can protect her. Who knows what could have been hiding in those woods?" It took me a while to feel comfortable going back to school, and even then, my trust in people was never the same again. I guess even the ones you were close to can snap, just like that, at any time.
That's scary. Well, that goes first animation. On to the second animation, we have A Pizza Delivery Story 3.
This happened in April of 2021.
So not that far.
My region hadn't been hit so hard by COVID. So most aspects of our lives were normal. I had graduated in 2020 and I needed a job. I was 18 at the time, almost 19. I wasn't studying and I didn't know what the hell to do with my life. So in March, I got a job at Pizza Hut as a delivery driver and kitchen hand. The night seemed normal. It was one of those days that didn't seem like anything interesting would happen, but those are always the days when the unexpected happens.
I was about to say that.
It was around 10:30 on a Saturday night. We closed at 11, so it was just me and my boss during the last hour.
Saturday night?
As usual, we got a late order. It was close, and I had finished mopping and sweeping the floor, so it was no hassle. My boss was always prepared for a million orders to come at the last minute, so he asked me to do it as fast as possible. The restaurant was located in a plaza on the main road.
Yes,
The
there's got to
traffic
be a
was
lot of people
consistently
there.
heavy on a Saturday, so I avoided the main road and took the side exit.
There's like a bunch of
Even though the plaza was in one of the busiest parts of town, this street, however, was always so dark and empty.
I don't like that
This street
already.
was also
I do not
really
like
long,
that.
so all you could see were the traffic lights about 500 meters ahead.
Just go to the main
Something
road.
was
Just go to
confusing
the
me,
busy
though.
road.
Like my eyes were playing tricks on me. There was this black
What is
shadow
that?
blocking part of the
What the
lights,
hell is
and there was
that?
this metallic object
the
shining
Grim
in the light
Reaper, bro.
above, bobbing
that the
up
bloody
and down
Grim
like
Reaper?
it was floating.
What the hell
As
is
I got
that?
closer, I
That's
could
the
see the
Grim
bottom of this
Reaper.
dark
No, that's the
silhouette.
Grim
It
Reaper,
looked like it was
man.
walking. I realized it was some drunk idiot dressed in all black
That ain't
walking on the
That
road.
ain't a drunk idiot. That's the
So I
bloody
thought.
Grim
I
Reaper,
couldn't
mate.
entirely see them,
Drive!
and I didn't know what they were
Idiot!
carrying.
Just drive!
So I approached with caution,
Why are you
preparing to brake or
driving
swerve.
there?
I got close enough to see this person.
Look at that! That's the Grim Reaper! What the hell? He's got a siphon hole!
Person was dressed in a long coat with a hood similar to a cowl, which is unusual where I live.
Don't!
I turned my car lights on bright and honked my
Yeah,
horn,
honk it.
hoping that they'd move to the side or something, but they didn't even flinch. Finally, I got close enough to see that it was some asshole dressed as Death, carrying a scythe.
Oh, hell no. Bro! That's not... He ain't...
Something was odd, though.
He's facing
People,
the wrong
even
way.
if they are on the sidewalk, usually look over their shoulder at an approaching car. But
I don't like
they
the way he
didn't.
looks like that.
As I
Please
drove
don't turn
past,
around.
however, this person ever so smoothly looked right into the window of my car on the driver's side.
Hell no.
It gave me such a fright. Like when
Just
people
drive,
clap in
just
your
drive,
face.
and that's it.
I
And that's
passed
it,
them too
so
quickly to see their face, let alone see
damn.
what gender
Also,
they
you can't
were.
even see who they are.
After I
if they're like
passed
a boy
them,
or a girl.
I looked
That's
into my
scary.
rear view mirror trying to see them,
He's
but
gonna
it was
get
so
him.
dark.
See,
I
it's
stopped
like
at
the
the
Grim
traffic
Reaper.
lights,
That's
and
basically the
that's
Grim
when I
Reaper.
started to
That's it.
panic. I remember those scary clown
He's
guys
gone
who used to
red.
block people's path and tap on car windows, so I went through the red. No one was on this road
Yeah, but
anyway.
just he goes for the
I
red.
pulled over to the side and tried calling the cops at the station, just in case somebody hits
Oh,
them, but no one answered. I remembered
He's
my boss
behind
told
the
me to hurry,
car.
so I just
He's
went on with the
behind the
delivery.
car.
I got to the house and parked on the side of the road, and I gave the people
Don't
their
leave
pizza.
your cars.
It's
Don't
always
leave your
awkward handing
keys
over
in
the pizza in
car.
silence, so to make conversation, I told them
Don't
what I
leave
saw.
your keys
They
in
laughed
the
and said that
car,
it was
you
probably someone making a
psychopath.
TikTok. I laughed as well. I guess it was a pretty
what?
good prank.
What if they
I got
ain't
in my
making
car and
TikTok?
went to start it, but I couldn't find the keys. I checked
I
outside my
told
car
him.
as well,
I
but
told him he
couldn't
shouldn't leave
find
his
them.
keys in there. That's why you don't leave your keys in your car. In a dark place.
I searched for ages, but no luck. I started to panic and kept thinking about that person I saw on the street.
Yeah, what if he
I
comes
jumped
for
into my
you?
car and locked it from the inside. I almost started crying when I heard jingling. I looked to my right to see that person dressed as Death, holding my keys, staring into my window. I felt everything.
Oh my god. Punch him in the face. Punch him in the face through the window. Get him.
In my
Punch
body
him.
pulsating, but I couldn't move. It was like they were staring into my soul. Eventually, I started acting on instinct.
Yeah,
I don't remember
you
thinking
acted
or
fast.
doing it, but all of a sudden I was holding down the locks inside my car.
Yeah, that's
My
a
car
good
is
idea,
small
because then
and
he
only
can't
has
get in
two
there.
doors, so I could easily reach across and hold both the locks down.
That was lucky.
They started spamming the car remote and trying to open the door.
Oh,
I was using all my energy to hold down those locks.
My
I don't think
God.
I'd ever used so much effort and strength before in my life.
That's scary, man.
Again, I froze. I tried yelling at them, but I was holding my breath. Finally, a peep of strange sound came out as I gasped for air.
What?
I started screaming profanity at them. I screamed so much that my words became gibberish. A feeling of numbness took over my body, and I couldn't hear myself screaming anymore. My whole body was being controlled by my anxiety, and my ears were ringing.
No, that's not good. So he's basically being controlled by his fear, because the Grim Reaper or something.
Sweating profusely. All this time, I couldn't take my eyes off them. This person. This thing,
he's looking
standing over my car with a scythe. I knew that if they got in, I wouldn't stand a chance.
No, he'd be dead.
The shadow from the hood hid their face. Was this even real? They stopped trying to get in and just looked at me. I started screaming out of exhaustion, and I became dizzy. My vision was blurred.
Punch him in the face.
There was a silence, and then about 10
him.
dogs started barking close by. This gave me hope. While leaning on the scythe, they lowered their body and put their face only a few centimeters.
Oh no, hell no! That's a Grim. Yeah, that's a Grim Reaper. That is definitely the Grim Reaper.
From the window. Finally, I could see this person had covered themselves with a skull mask. We both froze and just stared at each other. I couldn't help but look into their eyes. The eyes. There was something unnerving about them.
There's not an. Oh, what the hell? No, no, no. No, 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 no. No way.
In laughter, like it was a prank. Through this creepy skull mask, I saw that they just looked curious. Like how a little kid looks at an animal in the zoo. I shut my eyes and started calling for help. I had been screaming for so long. Why couldn't anyone hear me? I feared that fatigue would take over and they'd get in. At this moment, I swear I was almost convinced that death had come to collect me. I remembered my phone had Google Assist. With my hands still in the locks, I tried my luck and said, "Hey, call 000." It worked, and my phone contacted emergency services. I could not describe the feeling I got hearing the voice of the operator on the other line.
Lucky.
I heard the blunt jingle of keys dropping. I opened my eyes, and the person dressed as Death had disappeared. I tried looking around, but I didn't want to move. I just spoke to the lady on the line while holding the locks.
Terrifying, mate.
She told me to keep doing what I was doing, and that she was sending the police. I waited on the line with her until the police arrived. It felt like hours, but it was only around 10 minutes. I told them what had happened. Because the person was threatening and I feared for my safety, I was required to make a formal statement to the station. They told me they'd keep it on file. The officers spoke to the people in the neighborhood, and none of them heard me scream or saw anything, and they were used to the dogs going off at night. I found my keys around 2 meters from my car. I called my boss, and the officers followed me back to my work, where I signed out. I then followed them to the police station. I called my parents, and they took my statement.
Quit your job at Pizza Hut,
It was almost 1 a.m. when it was finally finished. This was a couple of months ago, but sometimes it feels like I'm going crazy. It was probably some asshole messing with me. But they just looked so curious, like they were studying me. Or they enjoyed watching me. Enjoyed watching me feel helpless and terrified. I still do deliveries, but I never leave my keys in the car.
Yeah, never leave your keys in the car. Well, that was some of Llama Arts animations, and if you want to see more of this, like this video, and I might make another one soon. Other than that, bye guys, see you later.